All right, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to the Struggling Day Trader channel. I am your host and resident day trader and your brother in the struggle. The name is Hassan, and I'm here to go over my trades for the day. All right, not a great day, but finished green, so not super terrible. Let's get into it. First trade was on Amazon. Now, I'm kind of conflicted about this because it is trading below yesterday's close, and I really don't like to enter those. But I feel like if it has room to run to yesterday's close, then it still has a potential trade if it's trading above VWAP. You know what I mean? So let's flip to the one and get my HVS line drawn, which is the line I draw above the first high volume candle, which is usually the opening candle, and then back to the two. So, had a green open, right? Then it kind of had an inside candle, then traded above the opening range. And the next candle also traded above and closed above the opening range, although we got this topping tail here. Now, the topping tail, that is kind of the first red flag, especially when it's that long. I really have to pay attention to those long topping tails because this really is a red flag, right? It's showing that there's a lot of selling going. There's a lot of sellers up there, and they push the price right back down. But it seemed to hold this HVS line and VWAP, right? This is a nice hammer bar right here and a pullback. So I took it. It was after my 10-minute timer went off. I went ahead and took it, and it looked really good for a moment. I had 100 shares at 188.05, so my target would have been 188.55. It went up to 188.38. So yeah, it just, and then what do we get? We got a top tail on the candle I got in on, and a longer top tail on the candle after that. So yeah, it just wasn't going anywhere. And now that I'm, hindsight looking at its trading below yesterday's close, I just wish I didn't stay in it. I mean, I wish I didn't take the trade at this point. So Amazon, I would say, if we didn't have the topping tails, it would have been more valid. It would have, it's showing that there's resistance right there and sellers right there. So ignored topping tail. Weak setup. -1R. Gotta pay attention to those red flags, man. All right, but risk was managed. Actually, $8 past where I'm supposed to be as far as losing an R. So was risk really managed? You know what I mean? So yeah, I could have done better on managing my share size also. Yeah, that was slightly above. Looks like I got ticked up a couple pennies. And even still, the candle itself was a 27-cent candle. Add the 3 cent, and that's why you got the $33 stop loss when it should have been 25. So, also must manage position size better to keep tight 1R risk. All right. Next up, gold. Now, gold was at 1 today. I could have not done anything but manage the position in gold the whole day. Gold had everything going for it. Uptrending on the daily, gapped up over yesterday's close and pre-market, and held up there. Held up there. That's what you want to see. That's the type of strength you want to see. So if I flip to the 1 and draw my HVS line, We see that we did trade above the opening range, closed above, and then traded back down to test VWAP. And then I think I wanted to get in here, but when it broke the low, I didn't want to take it anymore at that candle. So I waited, and then it engulfed that previous candle. And so I went ahead and placed my order just above the opening range, the HVS line. And it went to target on the same candle I got in on, which is cool. And then I watched it uptrend massively for the rest of the day, right? Now, towards the end of the day, as you can see, I had 3 red trades following that gold trade. And I'm sitting, I think, -1R on the day. And I'm watching this thing, high of day here, test there. Now, typically, when I see that, if it goes up for a third try, like, I want to say 9 times out of 10, but I don't have actual data to justify 9 times out of 10. But from what I've observed, most of the time on that third tap to resistance, it's going through. It's going through. And so, yeah, I put an order over the top. The breakout trade, which is a rule break. What time was it? It wasn't after 11 o'clock, though. But it was definitely a rule break in the sense that this setup is not in my playbook. I've traded these a lot in the past, but currently I've been trying to stick to the pullbacks to VWAP. But it's Friday. I didn't want to end the day red, so I gave it a shot, and it worked out really well, as you can see. So I jumped in with 50 shares right here at the break, and then at the break of that candle, I added another 50. And I was able to raise my stop up, so I maintained my 1R risk with that add. But, man, that was a 3R trade right there. Sold just underneath 225. I think I sold at 224.98. And it went up to 225.09, and that was a wrap. So I pretty much top ticked that one. This was an awesome trade. This is just like one of those things where experience comes into play, and I hate stepping out. It's hard to call it a clean win stepping out of my playbook, but I've traded these in the past, and I was down 1R, so it's like, okay, either I can be down 2R or this can be my red to green move, and so I took it. Yeah, like straight YOLO. And it worked out great. So that was awesome. So GLD, first entry. Nice work. Second entry was a breakout over highs on third test. That third test is high probability, and I actually have another example to show you of it as well. So first trade was plus 2R, and this one was plus 3R for 126 bucks on gold. Super happy about that. All right, Google. So again with the red flags, we don't need to pull up that 1 minute because it's so far above the opening range, and that's actually another deal. But I kind of used yesterday's close as the support instead of the HVS line. I prefer the HVS line. Like when it doesn't trade so far away from the opening range and it comes back to test at the HVS line, I prefer that much more. I really haven't had much success using yesterday's close as support, honestly. But not only that, this was a really wide range candle to enter on, and I do regret that. That was a red flag. So ignored wide range trigger candle. Yeah, -1R. So yeah, I mean, hindsight, you really always got to be looking for the reason to not take the trade, and when you can't find that reason, that's when you know that's the trade to take. So yeah, this is just too wide of a range. Like the opportunity on this candle is very slim. This is a like 62, 60, almost a 60 cent candle. And so now I'd be expecting $1.20 move out of that, even though it already pretty much moved. It moved the same. I mean, the average daily range is not that much for Google, probably around $2, and it had already moved $3 almost. So to expect to get another dollar out of that, ridiculous. Usually on a pullback like this, if I can get a narrow range candle, I want my target to be beneath the high of day, you know. But generally, this is you're late to the party on this. If you can't get in on that first pullback, you're really just late to the party. And I was late to the party for sure. I definitely should have let that one ride. I just got to be more picky. Got to be more picky. So yeah, that was my downfall there. Just even though it's a nice bottoming tail, it seems to show that there's buyers here and it's maintaining yesterday's close. The risk to reward on that type of entry candle is just not there. All right, moving on to Apple. So let's see how bad this looks. Yeah, this is a pretty aggressive pullback, I would say. And it ran super far. Look at the range. This is the average daily range down here, right? And then we got this huge parabolic move up yesterday. And then another one today, like way bigger than all of these average candles. And not only that, it tapped the 200 EMA and pulled back from that. So not only was it already way above the average daily range, it rejected the 200 EMA, and it closed beneath VWAP. So this was really a reckless ad. How close did I get? I think I got really close to target though. I think I was actually only 7 cents away from target on this move up. So I mean, it could have worked. It could have worked out. But I think the SPY also started dipping at this point as well. So just late to the party again. Late to the party again. I gotta learn to realize when the move has happened and I missed it. You know, just let it be. Just let it be. It's like I'm letting the bullish move influence how I believe it's gonna move for the rest of the day. When really, if you look at the daily, the move has been made, and there's no reason to expect anything else. I probably a glance at the SPY also probably would have made that pretty clear as well, that wasn't a great time. What time was this? 10:02. Yeah, it was just starting to pull back from there. You know, not the most egregious play, but this pullback is a bit aggressive. Wide range bars on volume as well. So move was already made way past daily range and rejected 200. So 3 reasons not to take that trade. And then just keep going. Now, Snow is probably the one that I'm really disappointed with myself on. Just because look at this ridiculous wide range red bar. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Huge red flag right there. Ignored wide range red candle. And then it's not a pretty setup. Where's the hammer bar to VWAP? Right? Like, it just started consolidating, and I bought the first break over that consolidation. Very weak setup. Yeah, that was whack. I'm very disappointed in this trade. I gotta do better. Gotta do better. All right, coin though. So here's kind of an exception on coin as far as trading way below yesterday's close. It's got room to move back up, but as you can see, it really didn't do much. If I mark out the opening range, here's another rule break right here, right? Trading below the opening range. So that's a clear rule break. And yesterday's close. Yeah, so that was a bit foolish. It did work out, which is negative reinforcement. But after this move up and this pullback, it seemed to want to hold up a bit. And this is like a very micro pullback that it worked. And this was also a pretty decent ad right here. And I had 2R in the bag, but I didn't want to take it. I wanted 3R. I had just gotten 3R out of gold, so I really wanted another 3R trade. But it did go to 3R. And here's my example of that third tap to resistance, right? It taps through 258 here, taps again here, and now it's going up for the third try. And at this point, after going through the pain of not taking out here and not taking out there, I'm like, all right, I'm not going to do that again. I got to take the 2R. But I knew that this was the third test, and it had a very good chance of moving up higher. So it did give me the 3R. I just had to really be patient for it. And that was tough. It never would have touched my stop, though. Actually, it might have touched it right there. No, it didn't, because I was still in the trade after this dip. So I could have held, but by then I was just like, come on, man, let's just take our 2R, which was the right thing to do. Just take the 2R, man. Just take the 2R. And so we did get 2R. So we'll call it plus 2R. Not a terrible play. Enter below opening trading range. So rule break there. Now the rules aren't 100%. Like sometimes it does work, outside of the rule, but the rule is there because I've noticed most of the time it doesn't work. So I do kind of fudge the levels, like the level restrictions, when it does trade through the level. So it did trade through the close, and so it kind of resets the level because it clears out buyers and sellers in that area, kind of resets the level. You know what I mean? Although 258 was still holding pretty strong, it eventually broke through again, and it would have gone to my 3R target. So a win as far as the trade, but I don't know if that's a win as far as discipline and sticking to the rules. Sometimes it's like I really do want the freedom to trade the things that I think are good trades, but that license is like, it's a double-edged sword, because like if you're in the zone, yeah, man, you can really find some great moves just by looking at the price action. But sometimes you're not in the zone, man, and you're looking at things that are not good ideas. And there was quite a few trades that I thought about taking today that I did not because of my rules, and they would have stopped me out. So it's definitely better to stick to the rules. But I am happy that I got it out the mud today and turned today into a green day. But here's another instance where I left 2R on the table trying to get to 3R. By the time I was ready to take my 3R, it was too late. It was too late. After this tap here, I was like, okay, let me go ahead and move my target down to 2R, and it never went back to 2R after that. So this was a great ad. I like how it moved up here to VWAP and kind of consolidated underneath, and then proceeded to make a high, and then a higher low down here with a beautiful hammer candle. So got in there. It went up. Let's see. This actually this was 7 cents to my target right here. So it would have been really nice to take that trade out right there. That would have been a perfect trade. But 7 cents shy of my target. Came back down. Added. Nice ad right here. Perfect ad. And then I should have just been content with the 2R. I would have been able to lower my target down and gotten 2R a lot easier. But at the same time, I'm hoping that it does go up and make a higher high and give me the what was my original 2R target, which would now be worth at least 3R, So that was the hope. But, when the SPY's having a down day like it's been having a lot, it's hard to get a long up move, Like you're going to get little pops here and there, and you really just kind of got to scalp it out, because on the long run, the SPY just ends up pulling it back down, which it did. But it was a break-even trade that I ended up getting $1.80 out of. So, it worked out. But definitely noticing that these stocks underneath yesterday's close, they're not really wanting to move up that much, Yeah, not really wanting to move up. Like, there's basically in a downtrend at that point. So I think I want to pay a little more close attention to that when it's trading under there. And I knew this morning that there wasn't really going to be much going on. And what did I do? I increased my watch list screen back to 9 charts so I could try to find more options to trade. And I ended up just over trading doing that. I ended up just over trading. So I feel like it was my experience that allowed me to be able to make this a green day overall. But definitely some trades I could have stayed out of. So all in all, a green day, a little more than 2R green today. And I believe it's a green week as well. I might do a weekly review video just to kind of go over that. I think that would be a good recap each week to kind of go over the week as a whole and look at my strengths and weaknesses over the week. And just kind of keep track of where I'm at week by week. Anyway, man, if you guys hung out this long, I get a little long-winded on these videos. It's 23 minutes right now. I really like to have these be like more of a 10-minute video. But hopefully some of you guys enjoy me going over, my trades kind of in depth and talking about my mindset throughout the trades. Anyway, if you hung out this long, please hit that like button. I do this every day the market's open. So if you like it, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you. I trade live every morning. Got some regulars now in the live chat. Super fun. Shout out George, man. Shout out Ben. My guy Haddy stopped in today. Who else? What's my guy? Dang, man, he's a trader. He got a trader in the name. I can't remember the tag, but I appreciate you too, man. Hope to see you guys next week. Have a great weekend, and catch y'all on the next one. Peace.